Do you know what time it is?
What time is it?
It's podcast time. Yeah, dig it? The Dynasty podcast is brought to you by Jube's Family Restaurant. Family owned and operated since 2002. Jube's Family Restaurant's gourmet pizza and fresh food seafood is better than dirty, dirty sex. Get your ass to Jube's Family Restaurant and don't forget to tip your fucking waitress.
It's time to play the music. It's time to light the lights. It's time to meet the assholes on the Dynasty tonight. That's right. It's time to put on makeup. It's time to dress up right. It's time to raise the curtain on the Dynasty tonight. Why do we always come here? I guess we'll never know. It's like some kind of torture to have to watch the show. And now let's get things started. Why don't you get things started? It's time to get things started on the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, sexuational. This is what we call the Dynasty Podcast.
Greetings and salutations. This is episode number 12 of the Dynasty Podcast, of course, coming to you from Tom Berkowitz Trucking Riverdale Studios. And again, we are brought to you by Jube's Family Restaurant. This is Commissioner Eric Costanzin. With me is Bubba Palucha.
Hi, Ark.
Hello.
Hi, Ark.
Hello, Bubba.
Hi.
Good to see you.
Yes,
again.
You as well.
I can't believe we only got, 5 weeks left of the regular season?
There's not much left.
Not a lot left.
No.
Home stretch, really.
Oh,
down the home stretch.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about, I guess, some of the happenings which occurred recently, kind of the elephant in the room. I like to just get it out there. Use this as a learning experience and, move forward from it. Let's just kind of shut the door on it here. But before we shut the door on it, let's just quickly address it and talk about it. Just to kind of recap really quick what transpired. Johnny C called me out last week on bullshit, which I think is like the third or fourth time that's happened this year, which is great. Just great stuff. And he called me out on bullshit on being basically a weasel and in the trade incident which occurred with Phil and I, with Andrew Luck and whatnot. And then that kind of just like was going all day, which is actually really fun. I just happened to have a slow day at work that day, so
luckily for me, I kind of caught up on it, so I didn't look at my email, at 9 o'clock at night and have 46 emails.
Well, better than the Jerry Gard email from the
God.
MS. It was like 600. But it was great actually to see Johnny C, partake in the trash talking and whatnot.
He was very adamant.
It was great stuff. Good to see like the passion out of him.
Nice job, John.
Good job. He usually has that like I don't care persona.
More
not
laid back.
Yeah, laid back, not in a bad way, but just that type of, at least when it comes to fantasy. So that was fun. That was good stuff. And then my fall, I kind of made it go somewhere that it probably shouldn't have, and then we kind of got on the topic of whether or not, I guess it's, for lack of a better word, I guess like standard or typical or
those are good words.
To I guess tip your commish or your the people that run the league, and kind of went from there, and then. What happened was I kind of reached out to a couple of other folks in the league. I hope it's okay. I mentioned who's Whiffen and Jay Young, and they based off their experience said that they've never basically heard of that. So maybe I was I guess in the minority and thinking it maybe was, and I guess maybe it was only due to the experience that I've had in a bunch of the former champions and other people outside the Dynasty I know who maybe thought it was. So maybe bad information that I got. And before we move forward, I just want to, Bub, I know we talked about it, I think last year, just between the two of us, but let's just go on the record right now. We absolutely do not want or expect any type of...
I want it. That'd be great.
Well, sure. But, I mean, we do what we do, and forgive me for saying this, but I think we all know I do a little bit more than everyone else, so... especially me, but you too, Bub, we all do what we do, for the fun of it, right? And we're not expecting anything more than that. We enjoy doing what we're doing, and that's why we're doing it. We don't expect, it's not a standard, it's not, we don't expect anything from anyone as far as, like, even saying thank you. I mean, sure, it's nice to hear, but, I just want to say that, but anyway, I reached out to Dave Richard. I reached out to a commissioner that I know from Michigan, who's in a very high-stakes league, and they all agree that it's not a standard. So anyway, I apologize to Johnny C. I apologize to anyone I may have bucked. I certainly, it was my bad, my fault. So I guess we'll just, use that as a learning experience and move forward, Bub. Is that?
Yeah. Close the doors closed.
It's open a creek, though. It's open a creek, and the reason I say that, it's ajar. Good word. It's ajar a little bit, and the reason I say it is because when I sent off a bunch of emails to the Dave Richards of the world, who's, by the way, just a friend of the Dynasty at this point.
He's a great guy.
He's a great guy. I also sent an email. Do you remember Brendan Dwyer?
I do.
Okay, so he was on the interactive segment last season. He's a professor at, I think, VCU. He literally is a guru of fantasy football, like the inner workings of it. I emailed him as well, and he didn't email me back right away, which is why I'm just mentioning it now. And actually, Bub, there is a piece of paper in front of you.
There is. I
see. If you flip it over,
there
you go.
Oh, okay.
On the top, my email is the one on the bottom, which basically is just reaching out to Brendan and asking him, hey, wanted to get your, expert advice via your vast knowledge and experience. You literally teach a class on fantasy football. What is your, experience when it comes to tipping your commissioner? So that's the gist of my question. And
right.
If you wouldn't mind just reading the Brendan's answer, I think it's just, again, an interesting answer, an interesting subject. If you wouldn't mind just reading
it,
Bubba.
Sure.
Thank you, Bubba. That's right, I forgot. You're a math guy. Yeah, that's Eric. Bubba.
Eric.
Yes.
Okay, Eric.
Okay, Bubba, let's just...
Eric, that is a good question. You are right. It is not common, but I think it will become common. By the way, this is about 3 paragraphs long.
Well, one paragraph is one sentence.
So, if you want to skip ahead, I don't blame you. Continuing. Listen, I am the commissioner of 2 leagues. Not only would I do it for free, I would pay to do it. Interesting. He didn't say interesting, that was me. I love being commissioned, but in recent years the job has gotten harder and harder. The players are engaged and active, and quite frankly, they are a pain in the ass.
Beep.
For example, and I'm sure you've run into this, I spent a lot of time writing and rewriting our league's constitution. However, it seems like every single year there is someone in the league who was affected negatively by something in the constitution, but didn't speak up when we wrote it. He speaks up when it affects him. Again, a lot of the commissioner's job is spent in reviewing trades, writing and rewriting constitutions, making decisions that no one else wants to make, which usually makes him perceived as the bad guy, etc., etc., etc. I certainly don't expect the tip, but I can certainly see it as a form of appreciation. As fantasy football evolves and the game gets more diverse and complex, it is becoming to be a part-time job, yet commissioners are very rarely rewarded. A tip is a nice gesture, and if one thinks it is justified, it would be a great standard to set. From what I know of your league based on our conversations last year, you and your league seem to be ahead of the curve, so I wouldn't be surprised if your league is ahead of most of us. Best regards, BD. I like how you...
BD. PhD. Look, he's got a PhD. Look at his signature.
Wow.
Associate Professor, Director of Research in Distance Learning, Center of Sports Leadership, BD. Anyway, thank you, Bubba.
You're welcome.
Just again, I think I don't have to kind of analyze what we just heard, but I agree with him. It's absolutely not the standard, and it's a nice gesture. It's not mandatory by any stretch, or it's not expected at all. It's just right. Do you have any take on what Brendan said, BD?
Yeah, it's an appreciative thing. It's a gesture, but I was more on the other side of the fence, I suppose. I don't think it's necessary.
Right.
I don't think it should be common. If you want to, that's great. And if someone wants to slip me, Andrew Jackson, I'm not gonna complain.
Right. Right,
but,
and I know when we talked about it last year, and unless this
I don't
changed,
expect it, I should say.
Right, and I know you said you would personally do it, but that doesn't mean what you think is the standard, right, by any means.
And if I said that, I think I may have changed my mind.
Oh, did I do something?
No, nothing whatsoever.
Yeah.
And maybe if I ever win, that's gonna have to be an inner moral decision that I'll have to make.
Okay.
But I'm gonna save that decision until I win.
That may or
which
may
could
not.
be the Dynasty 27 for all I know.
Sure. We never know. Well, let's go ahead and officially shut the book on it, Bob. Good. Yes. on to something a little bit more fun, shall we? So
Divertido in Spanish.
Yes. So, Bub, last week we had the wonderful, glorious Brie Olson on the
feeling him in plumes.
on the interactive hotline there, guest segment, whatever the fuck it's called. We had a lot of great feedback come our way from our wonderful listeners. Chris Heaney, our RDC, he actually tweeted, and I quote, "Great podcast. Almost drove past my exit listening to @Brie Olson on the ride home. Hashtag babe, hashtag wow." So, first of all, let's all make it a point to go out there and follow Brie Olson on Twitter. It's @BrieOlson.com, and she, regularly posts pictures of, not naked, unfortunately. And as we go talk about this right now, this is actually Brie Olson at work right now. She is, as you can see.
What does she do? Is she hammering something?
She's taking a big black cock in the ass right now, Bubba.
Oh, I thought she was like being a carpenter or something.
Yeah, no, she's
sounds like she's hitting some hammers.
She's hitting something all right.
It's hard for her.
She's a fascinating woman, let me tell you. And as you guys heard on the show last week, good old Philly T asked,
"Is she running?"
But look at the computer screen right now. Do you see what's happening here?
She's having sex.
Sexual encounters with a big black
She's having sex.
dick. We asked Brie if maybe our champion this season could spend a night with her and do these things to her that you hear right now. And she said that she couldn't do that, but she would offer up a free membership to her website. And I followed up with Brie Olson, Bubba, and guess what?
This is so uncomfortable, by the way.
Okay. It's hard
Thank
to...
you.
It's
Thank
hard,
you.
Okay. You feeling
It's
okay?
just hard with sitting here with such a huge raging boner.
Well, I reached out to her, and she reached back out to me.
Reached out or reach around?
Both. And we do have ourselves a free membership to BrieOlson.com. So our champion is going to not only win the glory of being a champion in the Dynasty, the Dynasty Championship trophy, the everything that comes along with it. This particular season, you will also get a free exclusive membership to BrieOlson.com. Bub, is there any champion or any contender in the league right now that you specifically maybe want to? Should we call one of them right now and ask them how much this impacts, how much more they want to be champ, or should we just assume it really is going to just make things even better?
I think if we reached out to maybe a team like Coach Ben Green, who's kind of sold, maybe he might want to get back into it. I certainly know if I knew this coming into the season, I would have been a buyer. In fact, I might still be a buyer. Someone offer me a trade.
Well, the trade deadline is fastly
Yeah,
approaching.
I'm looking for trades here. I'm a buyer.
You're a buyer. All right. Well, I would contact Ben, but I happen to know that he's not available tonight.
Fuck him.
So we will not contact him.
Probably busy whacking at debris.
Wouldn't blame him. All right, well, on the show this week, Bub, we're going to go ahead. We're going to discuss Week 10. We're going to preview Week 11. We will have Coach Zach Palucha of the Handy Quacks here on the coaches interview. And in the interactive segment, we're going to open up the phone lines again. We're going to partake in another Call the Dynasty podcast segment. Should be fun, good times. Bub, anything else to add here?
Yeah, snowing in Brooklyn.
Now let's take a look into last week's results. Who kicked some ass? Who sucked?
All right, Bub. So Week 10 was very interesting, I guess you could say. Any big takeaways, or should we kind of just go right through the slate of games here?
You know what? I'll tell you. My biggest takeaway was you. Your 67. Your 67 pointer.
Yeah, very disappointing.
Stinker.
It was a stinker. It was a stinker. It's okay. We'll table that for a moment because we're going to start off with the game of the week, and I don't blame you for that. That was certainly my takeaway, but I didn't know if it was kind of everyone's. But the game of the week, of course, the Rockdalian Senators and the Hong Kong Cavaliers. Certainly a primetime game. A lot of eyes upon this game, and Will is on fire right now.
Literally.
Yeah, he's on fire. Somebody get a fire extinguisher and torch his ass, because he just beat Hong Kong 137 to 126. Another one of those stingers there for Coach Whiffen. Puts up the second most points in the league, but he gets the loss there. His first loss of the season. Will is 6-4, and Bub, your bold prediction from last week was
dead on.
Very wrong.
Was dead on. I said they would score a combined 263 points, give or take.
Yeah, no, you
and
said...
what is it? 263. Dead
right.
on. Dead on.
You said they were going to score less than 200, which was not even close. It was the highest scoring game of the week.
Yeah, whatever.
Senators, again, led the league in points here now for the 4th straight week. This is the
5 total?
5th time he's done it this season. Bob, care to take a guess who in the Dynasty has the record for the most times they've led the league in points in one season?
Phil.
Good guess. You are correct. He did it in Dynasty Season 2, in which he won that title that year. He did it 6 times. So Will's only 1 away from tying the record, and he's got 5 weeks left to do it. Yeah. So Will's certainly doing good things here. He's averaging 124 points per game, which is on pace to break the all-time season record of most points scored in a week, which would be interesting, Bob. Or in a year, sorry. Which would be interesting because he has the record for least points scored. So that's
funny.
That would be funny if he had both on the different sides of the spectrum. And at the time we're recording this, the power rankings have not been released yet. I personally still voted Matt number 1.
I did as well.
Okay. However, I know we had Brandon, vote Will number 1 last week. I could see maybe him getting a few more votes. It would be interesting if Will is number 1 in the power. I doubt he would be, but number 1 in the power rankings this late in the season for a coach that if the playoffs started now, he still would not be in. He would not be in the playoffs right now. Crazy talk. Talk. And then we got Coach Matt Whiffen, Bob. Here. Whoa. Something just fell at Riverdale Studios. I hope everyone's okay. Bub, take this glass. Here.
Yes.
Take this glass.
Clink.
We're going. No, don't make a sound effect. Here. Here's some champagne. I'm popping.
Oh, I don't want to do this.
Come on, have a sip with me.
I know what this is.
Cool. So Matt Whiffen has lost, which means that I maintain
Mercury.
My winning streak of 13 games in a row and the longest undefeated streak of 10-0. Obviously, Whiffen's still in a very good spot here, though. However, anything else to add with this game, Bub? The game of the week. It lived up to its expectations.
It certainly did, and Will certainly looks great. And I don't know, Whiffen with Tony Gonzalez is hurting, and I think Jordy Nelson is hurting without Rodgers, and Cruz hasn't really done much. I
think he may have peaked at the wrong time?
Chink in the armor. I think Achilles heel.
That's what happened to me last year. I peaked during the beginning into the middle of the season, and then I just all down.
That happens to me during sex.
Yes.
I peak at the 4-second mark, and then.
Although with Brie also to be at the 1.5 second mark.
Right.
Maybe you wouldn't even make it to that.
No.
Yeah.
No chance.
The next game was the sticking with the South here, the Yellow Peril and the Pig Newtons. That was another big game. Yellow Peril gets the win, 106-65. Peril goes up to 7-3. Phil drops down to 7-3. Jay Young gets his sixth victory in a row, which actually is the longest winning streak in Yellow Peril's franchise's career. He started the wrong quarterback again.
Again, what else is new?
But it doesn't matter because he still, gets the victory.
Because he played Phil.
The hatred is.
I love it. Look at his team.
Did he play Andre Ellington this week?
Yeah,
he did.
6 points.
And it's amazing because Ellington, if you watch the games, is so much better than Rashard Mendenhall. He's good whenever he touches the ball, but for some reason the Cardinals just continue to give Mendenhall the ball instead of Ellington. If aliens invaded this planet and watched the Cardinals play football and they don't know anything about football, they would know that Ellington is a better player.
Can I? Right? I agree with you.
It's just weird. Why did coaches do this? Just play the fucking better. This happens a little bit with Giovanni Bernard for me.
If you were to look at his starters right now,
sure, let's do it.
Which I'm doing.
Yeah, as am I.
There is one starter on that team drafted in the first
Des Bryant
6 rounds.
Is the keeper, right?
Yeah. Other than that, no one else. And even his bench, McFadden is the only other one.
7-2. He's 7-3. Yeah. Sorry, 7-3.
Garbage.
7-3 though. Yeah. Next game was Soul Glow defeating Brutal Deluxe, 88-82. Pretty shitty ass game, but it looks like Soul Glow's wrapped up the non-pizza buying. He is not the loser of the losers.
Yeah, there's still that door's still ajar, but
well, I guess he's got a 3-game lead over Brandon.
He's probably gonna be okay.
And Brandon's now got a 5-game losing streak in his rebuilding shitty-ass year. It's the longest losing streak Brutal's ever had. Let's go on to the North Riverdale Division, shall we? Let's start off with my game. We touched upon this a little bit earlier, but Johnny C defeated me 106-67. Just a horrible output here by my squad with just a bad job by everybody. 67 points just isn't going to cut it here. I dropped down to 5-5. And John goes up to 6-4, still very close here in the North Riverdale Division. Drew Brees, I was an idiot. I said, Bubba, last week that Drew Brees was going to get 40 fantasy points. I'm such an idiot.
Fucking stupid.
He only got 39.
You know what? You should just drop him.
Drop Drew
He
Brees.
stinks.
Sucker. He's a sucker. He led the league again in points this week, Bubba. Like the fourth time in a row.
He's a good player.
He's a pretty good player. He is. And this is the 12th victory that Johnny C's had over me in the franchise's in all-time Dynasty history, which is the most any team's had over any other team in the history of the Dynasty.
Really?
It is. It is. It's interesting. I've lost 3 games in a row. I haven't lost 3 games in a row since
D1.
Wow, thank you for that compliment. D7.
Oh.
Yeah, D7. I've lost 3 games in a row, and I made the playoffs that year. So maybe that will happen again, but it's not looking good right now. Anything could happen though. It only takes a week to turn shit around. The VIP on Swole defeated Bubba Gump, yourself, Bub, 91-66. VIP dropped 6-4 in the tie for the lead in the North with Johnny C. Bubba, you go down to 3-7. I can't believe we neglected. Did we say that this was your 100th game played this past week?
No, but we did mention that
10,000.
I could score 10,000.
Which you did.
Which I did.
Congratulations.
In my 100th game.
In your 100th game, do you know who was the guy that got you the 10,000 point? Because I don't.
Do you know?
I don't.
Well,
I'm good, but I'm not that good.
I have 10,007. I know I just looked at it. So let's see. Who played? Clay got me 2, Carver got me 1. So it wasn't the guys on Monday night. Must have been a 4 o'clock game.
Oh, it could have been Nicky Foles, no? Later on in the...
Well, if I had a 4 o'clock game, it probably would have been it. Who played in the 4 o'clock games?
Colts, no. Pittsburgh, maybe? Did they?
Who'd they play?
Or Atlanta? Buffalo? So no, that was a 1 o'clocker.
1 o'clock.
It's got to be one of your 1 o'clockers then. Maybe your Cardinals defense. You're keeping your Cardinals defense next season, Bub, right? You said that. Fuck. Yeah. We got it on recording, you bastard. You're the 5th coach to score 10,000 points in the league. Phil, myself, Johnny C, and Will.
I bet I'm the only one to score in my 100th game, though. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. I can't confirm or deny that, but I'm going to assume
I bet
that's
it's
correct.
true.
The Boston Loggers defeated Handy Quacks 97-62, but nobody cares.
Nope.
Now, let's take a look into the future with next week's matchups.
Bubba, before we get on to the next week's matchups, a trade occurred a few days ago in which you obtained Mr.
Yeah, it was me.
Yes, it was you, Mr. Dougie Martin.
Yeah, Black Doug.
Of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yes.
Just wanted to ask you about that.
Sure.
Actually, I was talking to another league member about it, and just wanted to get, what's your feeling? Are you thinking you're going to keep Dougie Martin, or is it more of like a might as well trade those picks just in case?
Just in case.
Okay.
Let's say he comes back at the end. That's not what I meant. Let's say in the offseason he comes out and comes back awesome, looking sexy as hell.
Like in training camp, you mean?
Yeah. I could say, well, hey, it's a good keeper. So it's just a precaution.
It's a big season for you next year, Bub. I mean, you've mortgaged this year to play for next year.
I'm not
Even if he has a good training camp.
I'm not saying that I'm going to do it.
But you're not saying you're not.
But if he comes out and all reports are he's looking awesome,
okay,
and he's going to be a stud,
sure,
and Tampa Bay starts winning like they just did,
like at the end of this season, you mean? Yeah. If they start winning?
Well, they just won. They
won a game.
Yeah,
good for them.
So they're almost on a streak. So it was a low risk, high reward.
Gotcha. Thank you for the explanation, Bubba.
You're welcome.
So week 11 is honestly not a lot of good games if you look at them on paper. However, sometimes that's what equals some of the best games.
Yeah.
The ones that you're not expecting.
You're fucking right.
Come out of nowhere. I would come out of nowhere if Brie Olsen stepped into Riverdale Studios right now. Nothing but a Tom Berkowitz trucking bikini on.
I would come right on this laptop in front of me.
I just pictured Brie Olsen in a Tom Berkowitz trucking bikini.
Now I picture Jimmy Berkowitz in a John Berkowitz trucking bikini.
I prefer Brie Olsen. Okay, the North Riverdale Division. We're getting off track here. See what Brie Olson does to us.
Yeah.
We're giddy schoolgirls. The Bubba Gum Shrimp are coming into Riverdale and playing the Scoopers in a.
These games are terrible, by the way.
Yeah, you're 3-7. I'm 5-5. I absolutely need this game. I beat you 132 to 80 when we played last, and I'm 8-1 against you all time.
Yeah, my Achilles heel.
You know the only team that you haven't beaten in the Dynasty ever, off the top of your head, without looking it up.
Cochini.
Good guess, correct. Of course, you haven't played him many times. I think you're like 0-3 against him. So, Handy Quacks is playing the Rapists, and again, looks like an easy game for the Rapists, but you never know. John did beat Zach back when Zach was quote unquote good, back in I think it was week 2.
2 years ago.
VIP is taking on the Boston Loggers, so it's pretty much all the contenders in the North going up against all the non-contenders, assuming that Ben is a non-contender, which I think at this point he is not.
He's not a non-contender?
As a double, that was like a triple negative.
Yeah.
I don't.
So he is a non-contender.
I confused myself. What 2 negatives when you multiply them? You go,
Yeah,
but what
it's
if
a math
you do a third?
Then it becomes negative again.
Okay, so it is
negative is a positive, plus negative is a negative.
Okay, so I
the
did it
negative
right.
is positive.
I did it right without knowing. The South, the Senators are going into Brewer Deluxe. They're playing Brandon. Again, a game that we know what's going to happen here. Will needs this victory, of course. And then Brandon put up a very interesting league poll. Speaking of Brandon,
Great league poll.
Yeah, and if you can actually check the results where we're at this juncture.
Sure.
But he's talking about which thing is bigger, the spread to his game
or my
against
penis
the
when Brie
Senators.
Olson walks in.
I thought that's where he was going actually when I first saw the email come through. But no, the spread against the Senators in the Brewer Deluxe game, or how many bananas Johnny C has in his kitchen. What's the results right now?
Right now it's 4 for bananas and 1 for spread.
Okay. I voted for the bananas. I've seen well. Johnny C's kitchen.
Oh, I have as well.
Yes, so I will never.
He likes his bananas.
He does, in fact.
Sexually.
Imagine Brie Olson shoving up a couple bananas up her twat.
One up her.
That's actually not hot. Is it hot?
I would eat that banana whole.
Yellow Peril is going into. This is the one good game. Yellow Peril against Hong Kong Cavaliers.
Speak for yourself.
7-3, the Peril, and 9-1 Hong Kong. Hong Kong beat Peril 146-120, high scoring affair when they played. And again, this game. What do we think of this game, Bob?
Here's my bold prediction of the week.
Whoa.
And you know.
Table it. Let's quick. Soul Glow is playing Pig Newtons. Again, a game we think we know what's going to happen, although Pig Newtons hasn't been putting up a lot of points, but, Soul Glow isn't doing too great this year, but he did just coming off a victory, and the time they played last time, Peyton Manning put up that 60-point game, and guess what? Peyton Manning is no longer on Soul Glow, so I think Pig Newtons is probably the favorite here. But let's go to your game of the week, Bub, and then hear your bold prediction.
My game of the week it is Peril versus Hong Kong. I think there's not much to pick from there.
Right.
My bold prediction, which I've been dead on all year.
You have not gotten anything correct.
Both Yellow Peril,
except for possibly the Senators going to the Dynasty.
Oh yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. Continue.
That's okay. Both Yellow Peril and Pig Newtons will miss the playoffs. Both.
Wow, that is a bold prediction. That's more of it's not really a prediction for this week.
All right, so my prediction for this,
we can go with that if you don't have another one, because that's actually.
I do have another one because I thought about this earlier. Brutal Deluxe will lose by less than 15.
Oh, that is a good one. I
think that's a pretty bold considering his
what's
team.
What's the
and
spread? What is according to the CBS robots? Because they're always correct.
Let's take a guess.
I would say that it is about 32.
I would take the over on that.
So what would you say?
I would say 45.
Okay, so about 37 if we're averaging our guesses.
37 and a half.
And the answer is, Bubba.
Oh wow. It's only 17, only 29.
29. Okay. So.
Oh well, no, that's Tony Romo has a 0 because he's on a bye. So add another 20 in there, so that's really 47.
Yeah. Yes.
So I was right.
You were right.
I was closer, I should say.
So what was the point of what we were doing here, though?
Because Brutal will lose by less than 15.
Ah, yes, okay. So that is absolutely a bold prediction, considering CBS thinks it's going to be like a 40 to 50 point game.
Right.
I like it, Bub. We'll see how you do. You've been very wrong thus far.
Well, let me add an addendum.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the right word.
Addendum. Sure.
He will
yes.
either lose by less than 15,
or win by over 150.
or Brutal will lose by 80.
Okay, so it's between 15 and 80. There's no in between.
No, it's either a close game or it's a rock.
You heard it here, folks. Bubblegum Shrimps. Brutally bold prediction. Ooh, triple B.
Brutally bold.
Now it is time. Fucking right, it's time. So grab your balls and let's go. Coaches interview. Here we fucking go.
And now, on the Juice Family Restaurant, Coach's Guest Hotline. He is the Dynasty odds maker. He is the Dynasty 7 champion. If given the chance, he'd finger blast Andrew Siciliano of the Red Zone channel. He has wed and divorced the Dynasty Championship trophy. He is coach of the 1-9 Handy Quacks, Coach Zachary Palucha. Coach, thank you for joining us.
Hello.
Who's Andrew Siciliano?
Isn't that the dude on the Red Zone channel?
No.
Who is
That
it?
Scott Hansen, bro.
It's Scott Hansen. I think he might be the other guy, like the
Oh, like the fill-in?
no, like the other.
He's like the DirecTV guy.
Yeah, DirecTV, not Verizon or whatever.
The fake Red Zone.
Yeah.
Oh, so you guys don't have DirecTV?
No, we have DirecTV, but Scott Hansen's the guy that we watch. Andrew Siciliano must be the other.
No, I think
By the way, Bob, we don't have DirecTV.
Well, we
He
don't.
has Verizon.
Oh, Verizon.
So does
sorry.
Verizon have their own version of like the Sunday
No.
ticket?
Verizon and Charter both share the NFL Red Zone, and then DirecTV has their own version of that channel.
And Andrew Siciliano is on the DirecTV version.
Must be.
Yeah, he's the guy we watched at Jillian's.
Which is what I assumed you guys have, but
No,
apparently
we
you
have
have
Scott
the other.
Hansen.
Oh, my bad.
He would finger blast Scott Hansen though.
Okay.
He is. I believe, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, Zach. I believe that you have tweeted him that you.
I thought you were going to say, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have finger blasted
that
him.
you love him and that he's the coolest guy in the world, etc., etc.
Yeah, my tweets to him get a little aggressive.
Okay, well, back on track here, Coach. First of all, again, thank you for being here on the show. You knew I was gonna, ask you this particular question, so let's just get it out of the way, and then we'll move forward here. You came out of the season. You've come into the season as an unheralded favorite, a favorite we've never seen before. The Dynasty odds maker, who is you. Predicted that you'd be undefeated at a 15-0, and you'd score the most points ever. However, coming out of Week 10 here, you're 1-9, and you're in last place in the North Riverdale Division. What the fuck went wrong?
Yeah, I just missed my prediction a little bit. I was just a little bit off on that one. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that was my bad. But I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things that went wrong. I don't know how much I really would have changed on draft day. I guess that just means my rankings were really fucked up going in. So, you know what I mean? Everybody underperformed except for Calvin Johnson. There's really not much I can do about it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, looking back at your draft, obviously now, I look at like an MJD or a Ridley, and I'm like, oh man. But at the time, it's like, okay, that makes sense. There was nothing.
Well, Jones-Drew was a reach, but to be honest, if it wasn't going to be Jones-Drew, it was going to be Chris Johnson or Ridley at that spot, and both of those guys sucked the first 6 weeks too. So I would have been in the exact same spot I'm in now. So I mean, as far as my rankings, and not just mine, but everybody else, all the other experts, I mean, that's pretty much where they had these guys going, and I thought I had a pretty solid team all around, and it just didn't work out. Even Rodgers didn't really do much for me the first 6 weeks. Win came with Phillip Rivers as my quarterback. So
right. Yeah. Well, we've said this before. We'll say it again, Bob. The late great Jimmy Johnson. Oh, wait a minute, he's not dead yet, right?
No, he's not.
He's not. He's very alive.
Yeah.
So the great Jimmy Johnson once said, "It's not the amount of draft picks you have; it's what you do with them, bitches." And I added the bitches.
Yeah.
Zach, are you going to vote for yourself for this year's most disappointing team award?
I would be pretty surprised if you even have a vote for that. You
Yeah.
can just give me the toilet paper now.
Yeah, we might want to just forego the actual. Well, we'll go through the song and the dance just to make it official. But
I mean, this might be the most disappointing season ever for a coach.
I think it. I'm glad you said it because I didn't want to buck you or anything. But I mean, with all due respect, I think it is, and at the same time, it's almost a compliment because we all expected you to do very good.
Yeah.
But obviously, you haven't.
Well, when I go 15-0 next year, it'll make up for it. So.
I don't know if he really takes that as a compliment, but Coach,
No.
I want to shy away from this year.
Thank God.
It's a bad year. We all know that. Could you please rank the members of the Dynasty in order of
Sexiness.
how happy you are to beat them? So number 1 would be who you enjoy beating the most. Number 11 would be
Where do you want me to start?
Start at the top. Start at number 1.
Remember who I enjoy beating the most?
Yes,
Heaney.
I figured.
I figured that. We all.
That's not even close.
I think we all enjoy beating like the guy we hang out with most or
Yes.
whatever the most. So that makes sense.
It doesn't help that he kind of rubs it in when he beats you too. So when a guy scores a touchdown in his face, he does a little dance and
He does. I can second that.
that stupid Nick Foles to Deshaun Jackson touchdown last week. Fuck him.
Yes. That was in the league that you knew about from another guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
What about number 2?
Chris doesn't have any of those players.
Number 2, I don't know. I guess no offense, Eric, but I kind of enjoy beating you.
No offense taken.
Yeah. I mean, you're a competitor every year, so it's kind of fun when I can beat you. And I know you care a lot, so
Yeah, it's
fun when you beat the guys that you know really care.
I was just gonna say it's funner to beat the guys that are kicking themselves for losing. Luckily for me, you've only beaten me 3 times. I've beaten you 6, so suck on those balls. Why don't you? That's gonna make you. That might make me go number 1, isn't it? Shit.
Nah, it's still Heaney.
Cole, how about your third, and then maybe we can jump to the bottom.
My number 3 person that I enjoy beating, would have to be probably you, Bub.
All right.
Just for the same reasons that we're, obviously family, and not that I don't enjoy it. If I'm not going to win, I'd rather you win. When we do play each other in a meaningful game, I do enjoy winning.
Thanks. I mean, that
Wait, hold on. You guys are related?
It's weird, right?
distantly.
Okay, like 4th cousins.
Yeah.
Okay, got
Coach,
it.
how about your least favorite person? Like maybe you like actually get upset when you beat them, or maybe you just like when you beat them, it's just like, well.
Well, I guess at the bottom, I'd have to say Ben, just because I don't think I've beat him yet. And if I have, it was, and it's just one of those things where, I don't know, it doesn't really do it for me as much when I beat Ben. Maybe it's because he's so calm about it, it doesn't really rub it in when I see him.
You have beat Ben once. You're
great.
1-3 against him, just for the record. But
Solid. That's why I don't remember beating him. It's only 1-3. Is there anybody I haven't beaten?
yes, there are 2 coaches. Who do you think?
Who's new? Who are the newest coaches? Isn't Ben one of them? Oh, Heaney, right? I haven't fucking beaten him that
You
way.
have not beat Chris Heaney.
Fucking asshole. I don't know. Who's the other one, Bub? Brandon?
Yes, Brandon.
0-3 against both of them.
And there's actually one coach that you're undefeated against at 4-0. Can you guess?
Who haven't I played this year? Oh, Will. That'd be Will. One team I've beaten this year.
No, you are actually 3-2 against Will, but Coach Jay Young, you're 4-0 against.
I haven't played him yet, have I?
Not this year.
Not this season.
Well, that's got to change.
Well, that was a good little question.
Thanks.
Back and forth.
I came up with that on my own.
That was a Palucha duo there. I liked it. Not sure if you believe in fantasy gods or not, Zach. But do you think that they may have maybe spited you a little bit here this season for the little incident that may have occurred when you looked up some of the answers back when you got the number 1 pick in the draft?
I mean, I didn't going in, but it's kind of hard not to think something's going on here. This is pretty much anything that could have gone wrong this year went wrong, so
yeah,
it's kind of hard not to.
You even have the second hardest schedule in the league, so, I mean, that obviously hasn't helped.
Yeah, I mean, every decision I made didn't work, and every draft pick I made didn't work out, every pickup I made didn't work out, so yeah, it was a really good year for me. Really, I'm having a lot of fun this year.
Really quick, how much do you believe in the fantasy gods, like for percentage-wise?
It was at 0 going in. Now it's probably at about 10%.
Okay, so it's increased from 0.
Yeah.
Yeah, got it.
Coach, I'm gonna get a little personal with you right here, if that's okay.
Getting weird, huh?
Oh yeah, we're getting weird.
Let's get weird.
Now, you and Coach Heaney are very good friends, and you hang out often. You go golfing together, and you hang out. Now that he's taken the plunge and has a child, what's the time frame for you and your wife?
Wow. I don't know, Bob. You might want to ask Elena that question.
Oh, come on! You have to have an idea.
Don't tempt
I
us.
would
We
say
will
it's gonna be at least a year.
at least a year. We will call her without you knowing on this show
So,
one day and ask this
I'm
question.
sure you will. She's not gonna have any idea what's going on.
I will say, kind of side point to that, because I also had a baby this season, and so did Chris, obviously. I don't think there's been any Dynasty champion that had a baby that same year.
Boom! Wow.
Boom! I thought about it. Trust me.
Yeah.
I thought.
Did Will have a baby this year?
Well, Chris and myself.
Well, see, Will's my pick to win it all this year, so I think you're safe.
Yeah, Will has not had any babies this year. He has like 4, but not any that were born this year.
I think that record will stand.
Just so you know, I picked Will in the preseason.
But we
Yeah,
know.
he's got a pretty solid team.
Hey, Zach, I appreciate your willingness to answer some of these, I guess controversial type of questions. And I got another one for you. A couple of years ago, you made it, very known your opinion about having, coaches make sure that everyone knows if a certain player is available on the trade market, so that everyone is aware and whatnot. You've had quite the unique and fascinating way of, I guess, selling some of your players earlier this year when you did the buy it now feature, which I thought was really cool, really unique. There's been a few instances though this season that you kind of done the very opposite of what you talked about, and you may have not made players available to everybody to maybe get the best that you could have gotten. I guess I'm just wondering, if you care to comment about that.
Yeah, can you give me an example? Which player are you talking about?
Well, the first one example I have is Aaron Rodgers. I think
That was Phil?
Yes.
Yeah,
You're gonna twist my arm.
I sent him an email and because he asked me about that. That was I just didn't realize. I didn't remember to email him, to be honest with you. I was going back and I sent about 55 emails that day, getting different inquiries from different coaches, and that was just one of those things. I just kind of forgot he had offered me a trade earlier. I forgot he was interested, and I think I was talking to you and a couple other coaches about Rodgers, and I completely forgot about Phil. I even told him that too. That was just an oversight.
Let's be honest, Phil is forgettable.
Well, the problem is he offered the trade, and then he never really emailed me or anything to ask. So I was pretty much dealing with straight email, and then I kind of just wasn't really thinking about it. But yeah, that was just a mistake on my part.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah, no, absolutely fair enough. What about Keenan Allen? I think you knew that I was a little interested in him, and the next thing I knew, he was getting dealt over to the yellow peril.
Yeah, I was a little miffed about the warning still, so
gotcha.
I didn't really want to give it to you at that point.
I gotcha. Hey, at least he's being honest.
Yeah,
though.
absolutely.
You know what, Zach? Thank you for your honesty, and I hope we get over that at some point. But I certainly don't believe.
Can I just say one thing?
Absolutely.
And obviously I know there a lot went on for that whole thing, and I honestly don't think you were doing it to be a dick. I think you were under the impression that all coaches pretty much reported the stuff when it happened, and you just thought that it never happened. I don't blame you for that. I was just, what really didn't piss me off, what kind of got me a little riled up was when you offered the original trade, I rejected, didn't comment, got the warning, and then like 2 hours later you offered me another, basically the same trade for Keenan Allen. I was a little mad about that.
Yeah.
I thought you were trying to rub it in.
Yeah, no, I understand.
That's when I thought you were just being a dick about the warning. I was like, wow, you got the balls off me, another trade for Allen.
Yeah,
I had a couple emails in mind to write about why I didn't want him, but I'm like, I'm just gonna say no.
Yeah, no, I get that, and you're correct with your assumption, by the way. I did assume everyone utilized that, but I was wrong about that. So again, we learn. We're educational. We are an educational program today, fellas. Let's see. Should we take it to the Twitter machine?
Yeah,
Bob?
let's take it to the Twitter machine.
So we got a couple of folks actually outside of the Dynasty who tweeted us a couple questions for you, Zach. I'll take the first one. Bub will take the second. A fellow who goes by the name of Richie Incognito from Miami. He went ahead and tweeted us. Being an odds maker, can you tell us which team has the best odds at winning the D10 championship right now?
I would go with, like I said before, I think Will has the best chance to win.
Bam.
Looking at the team.
Bam. And if the playoffs started right now, he would not even make the playoffs, but you're saying that he is the best chance of going all the way.
I think I think like Whitman's obviously the main choice. He's got the best record. He's almost a lock to make the playoffs. So I think he'd obviously be one of the other favorites. And he's got a good team too. Don't get me wrong.
Johnny C?
Johnny seems good. He's had a lot of tough injuries though. Foster going out didn't help. Not getting Ben Tate from me was probably not the best idea. And obviously Julio Jones, Reggie Wayne. Everybody he seems to take out of my team, tears their ACL. So I'm sure Terrence Williams will go down next week. But
In his defense regarding B. Tate, Tate also has a couple of rib injuries, and he does have Pierre Thomas who's been doing pretty good. So I don't know what draft pick you were, looking for.
I think at the time, I think he could have.
I think my point was not getting Tate now. I think my point was when he got Foster, he should have asked Tate as well.
I gotcha.
I feel like
I would have thrown him in right. I would have thrown him into the deal for nothing.
Yeah,
I gotcha.
I agree. Next, Twitter, Eric. So the next Twitter tweeter, from Topanga, from good old Boy Meets World.
Fox.
Coach, you've missed the playoffs 3 straight seasons, and your all-time winning record, is now well below the 500 mark. What would you say to your critics who call your D7 championship a one-year wonder?
Well, since only 4 other people in the league have a trophy, I would say that those critics can go suck my balls.
Suck on those balls, you critics. All right, fair enough. I like that. All right, Coach. The next, you're playing Coach Johnny C this week, the Rapists. So we reached out to him, and this is what he had to say. I'm going to go ahead and read it. He sent me this via real mail. A postcard. Ask Coach Zach Palucha if he ever feels an overwhelming darkness approaching him all the time. If every waking moment feels like the cold grip of death squeezes tighter and tighter. If he ever wonders why this world isn't swallowed by the void and we all unexist together at that very moment. Does he see beauty in that? Does he, like me, see a 3 feet in diameter dark circle about 50 yards away from him every day, all the time, regardless where he is or what he is doing? And as each day passes, the circle gets just a little bit closer. By the time I am old and on my deathbed, I think the circle will be right in front of me, blocking my view of my weeping family members. The circle approaches.
What the fuck? What is that, from a Metallica song or something?
I don't know. I'm not really sure, but is that your answer? Is that your answer?
Why don't I just say that it'll be a pleasure to lose to a former Dynasty champion this week.
There we go. Yeah, 2 former champions going up against each other this upcoming week. Well, good luck to you, Coach Zachary Palucha, and good luck the rest of the way. I know you're in the midst of a shitty-ass, disappointing season, but thanks for being on the show, answering the tough questions, calling me out. I appreciate anyone ever calling me out, so that's fun. And
Mike, should I expect an email coming soon?
You are warned. No, just kidding. Anyway, thanks for being on the show, and good luck.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, thank you. See you. Good stuff, Bub. Let's go ahead and move forward with the show, and we will go ahead and open up the phone lines and take some more questions. We had some really good questions last time.
We did.
We'll see if we can, get another slot of great questions from our great listeners, or maybe they're just going to be a bunch of fucking assholes with bad questions. We don't know.
I don't know.
We're going to find out right now, though.
Hello?
Shit. Fuck. Ass. Shit. Cunt. Bitch. Fucking whore. Yeah! We'll disrespect you and call you crazy, but here's our number. Call the Dynasty. Get off your fat ass and don't be lazy. So fucking do it. Call the Dynasty. 617-943-6027. That's right. Motherfucking do it. Go.
All right, so let's go ahead. We'll take our first caller here. Let's take Chris in Millbury. You're on the air.
Hey guys, give me your top 5 past or present sideline reporters. 15 seconds. Go.
Sideline reporters. Are we talking like just favorite sideline reporters, or are we talking hotness, like women?
I'm both. Pam all over her face. Boom. Bam.
No.
Pam all over her face.
You can't put her anywhere close to the top 5.
She has unbelievable buttocks and lips. Did you see the time she got hit in the face with a football?
Andrew Luck. She can't be number 1.
Bonnie Bernstein had a
What is this, the 1980s?
that whore covered DG though, and she did a horrific job at covering the time that he tied an NFL record of most consecutive postseason games with a touchdown catch, and she didn't say that DG got this coveted NFL history record, and I was so fucking pissed off. You can ask Johnny C, Philly T.
We're getting off track.
Okay.
Top 5. Now, is this just, can we go football or can we include baseball?
Football.
Just football.
Football. Erin Andrews.
Yeah, she's got to be up there. She's got to be up there.
Hotness. What about Erin Nichols? That red hair really makes me want to tie it around my dick and swing off of it like I'm a monkey.
Really?
Wow.
Rachel Nichols, you mean?
What did I say?
You said Erin Nichols.
Sorry.
Rachel Nichols. I don't like her because of the way she says ESPN and she moves her mouth weird.
I just pretend.
I fucking hate it.
Yeah, but I just pretend my dick's in her mouth. So that's
oh,
why.
it'll be like, so I wouldn't include her in mine, but you can include her in yours.
Okay.
What about men as far as good reporters? Oh, here's mine, and Coach Zach Paluch and Coach Hino will like this one. Jeff Darlington. He's on the NFL Network. I forget who he covers, but
sure.
He talks like this, and he often presents questions like this. So, for example, the Dynasty podcast could go smoothly today. It could also not go smoothly today.
What about Adam Schefter? He's a great.
Is he a sideline reporter?
Well, he used to be. You were right. He's not anymore.
Yeah.
How about what's his name? Albert Breer. That's who Brian.
Albert Breer. Yeah, he's pretty good.
Brian and Phil and I actually, talked to him when we were down in Buffalo.
I think the question.
I want to have him on the podcast. That's one of my goals. I want to have Albert Breer next season on the podcast.
I think the question should have been name 5 sideline reporters. I wish we had a list. I think Erin Andrews just because she's a fucking fox.
For me, it's Pam all over her face.
Oh, gross. All right, so it's certainly an interesting first call.
Great question.
Getting things rolling. Let's go ahead and take the
next call.
Second call here. We have Will. Will, you're on the air.
Wilma.
Hey guys, how you doing today?
Hey.
Excellent.
Long-time listener. What can I say? I'm psyched to be on the show.
Awesome.
Guys, it's kind of fitting, Eric. You sent out the email today about the with the league spreadsheet. The whole time here, I've been really wondering what's going on with this website that we keep hearing about. We think it's going to come. I don't know. I don't think I use web anymore. We need an app. What do we say to that? Where are we in this development of this website?
Wow, that's a great question by William Q. DeYoung.
You know better than I do.
Oh, Will?
No, you know better than...
Oh, I thought you meant... Yeah, I mean, you're right with both parts, but I do know Will better than you do.
It's true.
Man, I don't know. I'll give you my opinion. What Brandon and I have talked about is, first of all, Brandon is a key essential member to the Dynasty. You all are. I don't care what other fuckers say about you like Bubba. I appreciate each and every one of you, okay? You all bring something a little different to the table. You all have a league role in some fashion, okay? Brandon has a couple of, very important league roles. Now, a couple years ago, he informed me, which then I in turn informed the league, that he is wanting to and working on a website which is basically the league spreadsheet but in web form, which would obviously be a lot easier, user-friendly, better. Him and I bounced a couple ideas off each other how to make it like for example, you could go to the draft page and like Nerf bullets could like fly like across the screen and stuff. So just like little things like that. I think last year he said he wanted to have it ready for this year, which obviously didn't happen. He's certainly, in the midst of a bad season right now, so maybe he's dedicating some time to do the website. I don't know.
Could be.
I have a feeling, I'll say this, it's going to take a lot of time once he's completed it for me to QC it, because Bubby, if you haven't already know, I'm a perfectionist, so I'm not going to, release anything to the league until I think it's ready and up to Dynasty standards. So, I would need at least a month or two to completely go through it, make sure, because I need to make sure that as a commissioner I can update it appropriately.
So what you're saying is we're not going to get one?
I'm not going to say that, but I'm going to say as far as I know, unless Brandon's been doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes that I don't know about, which is certainly possible, I don't see it happening anytime soon. I want it to. It's out of my hands. If it was in my hands, Bub, what I do.
You have nice hands.
Thank you. Brandon, we're not trying to call you out. You do a lot of great things, and we're really looking forward to it. Great question by Will, though.
Yeah.
Really good question.
Oh, yeah. Another good question from Will there. That was good.
Good
It's
job,
two
Will.
in a row.
Two in a row. 2 for 2.
Let's we don't have a name here. Caller, you're on the air.
Yo, it's your boy Kareem, Kareem Cheese. And I've been wondering this for a while. You probably have been too. Do you think a hearse should be allowed to drive in a carpool lane?
Ooh.
It's a great question.
Great question. I've legitimately never thought of that. I've never thought about that. Should a hearse be able to drive in the fast lane? Is that what
In the carpool lane.
the carpool lane.
Sometimes there's they have the carpool lane. I would say no.
Why?
Because at that time, it's just like the person doesn't know. Like it's just like having dead weight literally back there.
Is it a hearse that in the act of like a funeral procession? Sorry. Or is it a hearse that's maybe like off duty and they're just like it's after the funeral, they're just going back to where I think that matters, right? I think if it is not during duty, yes, but if it is, then no.
So I think the other way around.
Or they flip it.
The other way around.
Flip
if
it
they
around.
are in duty,
Flip that shit.
then yeah, because they have
Right.
a bunch of cars following it. But let's be honest, how often does a hearse drive on the highway?
Not very often.
No,
but it's certainly possible.
I think it's pretty much the church to the
to the
cemetery. I don't
right.
think there's a lot of highway driving.
Right. I would agree, but you never know. He might be a
So I would
long
say
ways away.
I would say single hearse, yes. No. But if your funeral procession is going,
in the midst of
to
it happening,
Route
yes.
66, then
Right.
yes. Hearse in the carpool lane.
I like it.
Not a question you normally think about.
No, not at all.
But that's
but
okay. That's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for.
We answer questions.
Again, we're an educational program
Oh
here.
yeah, a lot today, really.
Yep.
Let's go ahead. Next caller, Jay Young. You're on the line.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey.
What's up, dude?
Hey.
All right, so my question is for Bub. So, Bub, you've made a lot of noise about being the league villain this year. So I want to ask you a question about that. So, number one, who would you say do you hate the most in the league? And the answer to the second question may be the same, but if you could put a curse on someone and ensure that they never win a fantasy trophy in their lives, who would it be?
Easy. Both questions, easy answers. Well, the second answer is easier than the first. So can I go reverse order?
Yes.
Can I answer the curse first?
Yeah, you do what you want to do, my friend.
I would put, no offense, I would put a curse on you
But I already have one.
because
Why would you waste a curse on someone that already has one?
well, I want to make sure. I want to doubly curse because
That could be like two negatives. And two positive.
No.
Oh.
I want to win a trophy before you do. So if that means you never winning a trophy, then that means you never winning a trophy. So you are hereby cursed from me via Jay Young.
Can I ask you a question?
Okay.
Why me?
Because I just said.
Seriously, why me?
Because I don't want you to win a trophy.
But there's
because
a lot of other guys that haven't won a trophy, so why me?
but we go back and forth with each other, and we spend a lot of time together now doing the
Right.
podcast and stuff, and we're
Right.
both very competitive.
Okay.
Typically year in and year out, and
Yes.
it's both well known that neither of us have won a trophy, and people give us a lot of crap for that, especially the people who have won a trophy.
So is it more because you don't want to be like the longest tenure? Because
Right.
it would be Will though, really, because Will is.
Yeah, but Will's always except for this year, Will always sucks. So it doesn't really matter. With us, we're both usually very good.
You
And
said that with such seriousness.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's be honest.
But yeah, sorry, continue. Yeah.
So we're both in the running all the time, and
Right.
so I want to get there before you do.
Fair enough.
So no offense or anything. It's not.
Fair enough.
And so if it makes you feel any better, you're not my answer to number one.
Which was what again?
Who do you hate the most in
good.
the league?
Okay, I'm glad I'm not that.
My original thought was more of a funny thought, and I was gonna say Phil. I don't hate Phil in any way whatsoever.
Right.
I just hate the fact that
Well,
his team wins because
yeah.
his team is fucking terrible.
Yeah, and obviously when we ask this question, it's in the realm of fantasy, not who do you hate the most as a person, like outside of the dynasty.
Oh, then my answer changes. If I had to pick one person in fantasy that I hate, oh man, there's a few I could pick. I think I'll tell you what. Phil might be up there simply because he is often very good, and his team this year especially, just his team fucking blows. I don't know why he's so good.
What I think in our final episode of the season, I'm gonna do a compilation of everything you've said this season of like negativity towards Phil's team. It'll probably last like 10 minutes.
It'd be a long one. So Phil would be up there. I guess I could throw you in the bunch just because for the same reasons.
Yep. Can I ask a question? I'm curious. Obviously, like one of my shticks, if you will, is that I constantly remind people of the awards and titles I win, which is kind of partly a joke because I haven't fucking won the Dynasty Championship. Although I have. See, there I go again. And then I give a little parentheses and everything. Oh, but I am the most profitable. I have won the most awards. I have the most coaching achievements. Blah blah blah. Does that make you like? Do you laugh at that like a little bit because it's like it's an ongoing joke, or is it a stale joke and now you just get like annoyed by it?
I personally,
maybe it's different for everybody.
Well, I think it's silly. Which I love using the word silly. It's a silly word. I think it's silly that we actually, I say we, you, keep track of most awards. Like, I won the third place trophy. I won the most disappointing team. I won the blah, blah, blah.
Well, I will say that the negative trophies, the most disappointing, they don't count.
Well, then I retract that statement.
Okay, good.
But I just, like, I don't know, I won the Division Champion Award. Like, yeah. I personally think that's silly. I think the only thing that really matters is if you have a championship or not.
Well, but I will play the devil's advocate. I think it slightly matters in the sense of, let's say there's a franchise that has won, say, 2 division championships, a most improved team, a draft pick of the year, an MVP, but has never won a championship. And then let's say there's another team that has literally never won anything. If you want to like compare, we have the Gazette, we have us here in the podcast, we have many other forums that we just like to analyze the league, analyze the teams. That's part of that franchise's history of what they've accomplished, right? Mm. I mean, so I agree with you, but I also think it does factor in a little bit. No.
Personally, I don't like it, but that's okay. That's just my personal opinion.
Okay.
But anyway, so you and Phil and this last person I'm gonna name, I'm not gonna give my reason why.
Oh, you're gonna leave a little.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable giving my reason.
Okay.
And I'll give you the answer is Brandon.
Wow. Okay,
but I don't really want to say why.
All right, well, Brandon, I don't know what to tell you. So what? You sorry? I don't know where to go from here, but I guess we can just take the next caller.
I just want to make sure that I didn't offend you or anything.
Absolutely not, Bob. We're
good.
We're playing fantasy. You can have thicker skin than that.
Okay, we're good. We're good.
We are very good.
Okay.
Thank you. Like I said, I appreciate when anyone calls me out on anything.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Next caller, we don't have a name. Next caller, you're on the line.
Hey, dickheads. It's me again, the cyborg from the machine world. Just because I don't have a soul doesn't mean I don't listen to the Dynasty podcast. My question for you two toolbags is this: what is it about commissioners in real sports and in fantasy sports that made them so hated?
Ooh, interesting.
The cyborg makes
he comes up with some good questions over there on Machine World.
Yeah, he does. He sure does. So
glad we extend beyond Earth. It's good.
Well, is Machine World part of Earth? It might be.
I've never seen it.
Oh, it's a futuristic Earth, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
The question was, what is it about commissioners in both real sports and in fantasy sports that in general make them so hated?
Want me to go first? And then maybe
since you just told me that you hate me, yes, you go first.
No. I think in real sports, and I guess in fantasy sports as well, the commissioners have to make decisions.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
And those decisions
that nobody else wants to make.
Those decisions don't help everyone and don't make everyone happy, but you have to make those decisions and unbiasedly as possible.
Right.
And one party's going to be happy, one party's going to be sad. It's very similar to the judge. You know, being a judge. One party's going to be happy, one's going to be sad.
Yep.
And so...
Can't teeter the fence with the commissioner. You can try your best to do that as much as you can, but there's certainly some situations that come up where you absolutely have to make the decision, and like Bub said, it's going to be probably bad for one or more parties. So it's also ingrained within Americans to kind of rebel against leadership.
Boston Tea Party.
Exactly. So I think that certain. Luckily, not many members. So there's a few, but there's luckily not a lot of members left in the league who have issues with with people just basically in charge, like leadership. I think they're the Matt Blandings of the world, the PJ DeFagowitzes. They've obviously had issue. Basically anything I said, no matter what it was, they had an issue with.
Have you spoken to Mr. DeFagowitz in a while?
No.
That's good.
No.
I've never even met the guy.
Yeah.
I just know he's a fag.
Yes, as it says on the trophy. So I guess that's the answer, right?
Yeah,
So,
I think that's a pretty good answer. All right, let's go ahead and get the next caller. Joe, you were on the line.
Hey guys, it's Joe St. Dennis, former Dynasty member and current strength and conditioning coach for all Dynasty employees. Just had a question. Your favorite football movie? What is it? I'll let you guys speak from there. But again, first-time caller, long-time listener, former member. Give me some point for that. And I'd love to hear your favorite football movie.
wow.
Ooh, that's
Joey St. Dennis.
There's a lot of directions we can go with that one.
And before we even answer the question, I mean, former Dynasty member Joe St. Dennis, my very good friend. What did Forrest say about my very best good
Bubba's
friend?
my best good friend. Even I know that's not something you can just find around the corner.
Exactly. I love it when you quote Forrest Gump.
Thank you.
I love it.
Hello.
Great question by Joe St. Dennis, former Dynasty member, and a great one at that. Let's see. Well, you know what, Bob, why don't you go first, because I have my movie list that I can just refer to at any given time.
That's also true. And I was actually going to ask if you could maybe just name a few, because I have one in mind. It's the first one that popped in my head. It's I love it. I hope I'm not looked down upon for enjoying this movie.
Like you are not watching The Walking Dead.
Yeah, right. Okay. I don't want people to hate on me for this. Right. I thoroughly...
If you say Remember the Titans, I'm going to lose it.
The Longest Yard was a great movie. Okay. I love that one. Right. It definitely was not going to be Remember the Titans.
All right, good.
I definitely don't like Remember the Titans. I definitely don't watch it anytime it comes on TV, whatever part it's on.
My biggest beef with by the way, is Remember the Titans, not the Titans. Let's get that right first and foremost. The random, halftime. Let's sing the Temptations all together in perfect rhythm and dance together. And
maybe they practice that.
I'm calling bullshit.
Why? Were you there?
Well, you don't just all come together in song. A bunch of football players during halftime.
Speak for yourself.
Does that all right, Bob? You are a coach of, correct me if I'm wrong, of the Northbridge JV football
freshman
football team. Has that ever happened in real life?
I'll tell you what.
Anything ever?
I'll tell you what. We have a game on Thursday. You better believe I'm fucking doing that with my team on Thursday.
What will be the song that you bust out in song to?
Probably like a G6.
Okay. All right. Well, tell you what. If that happens, then I will take it all back and I'll rethink my ranking of the Remember the Titans. But I think it's one of the stupidest football movies of all time. Question by our friend.
By the way, it wasn't halftime. I believe it was because Louis last year says, "Coach, we're gonna warm up a little differently this time." They come out to the song doing the little hand motion.
Right.
Who we are? Who really? Who we are? Who?
Yeah. We
really
get
good.
it. We get it.
How you feel?
We get it. All right. It wasn't halftime. It doesn't really matter what the fuck it was. It was stupid.
I like the movie. I asked you not to look down upon me.
Well, but you weren't talking about Remember the Titans. You were talking about The Longest Yard, right?
Oh yeah, totally. Totally wasn't talking.
Were you
about
really gonna say that? Remember?
I was.
You were. That's awesome.
Hayden Panettiere's a babe.
Well, she was like 12, dude. She was 12
I know. She was a babe in that movie.
Wow.
Probably younger than that too, by the way.
But go ahead and bring up the movie list.
Sure.
I have it available and up and running at all times, just in case something like this were to come.
Do you have it sorted by sports?
How dare you ask that question of me? Do you know me?
You do.
And there's two ways. You can click on the sports tab, or if you scroll all the way to use the arrow over here, bub. Use that arrow. No, yes. See miscellaneous tab.
Miscellaneous.
Click that miscellaneous tab. Now you get yourself the football all broken down wonderfully.
You're weird.
Go ahead and tell us what the number one ranked movie is here, according to Johnny C. and I.
Rudy.
Of course.
You ranked at 10. My problem with Rudy is apparently that never really happened.
There is a real Rudy Rudiker, you bastard.
Yeah, I know, but like that. What happened
in that
movie? Oh, so you're complaining about a high school team coming out singing and dancing, but now your movie has a flaw in it, a hole, and you can't take the criticism.
I can take the criticism. Just trying to sway things in my favor when things don't go my way, Bubba.
By the way, I like how you have Little Giants on here. I
Giants
I
I
do
want to
love
give it
them.
like a 6.5. Yeah, sure, out of 10.
Fun fact: when I
Nice box.
was a kid, my best friend as a kid, it was my birthday, and he whispered in my ear, "Hey, guess what? I got you Little Giants for your birthday." He ruined my present, but it was a great present.
It is a good present. It was
love
probably
Little Giants.
VHS at the time, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I personally have, and I agree. I put Rudy up at the top, and then second is Any Given Sunday and Jerry Maguire. As solid football movies up there. The Program is a good one. The Express, Necessary Roughness, of course, and Varsity Blues. I have Friday Night Lights as the worst football movie.
I like that movie.
Really, I thought that was bad.
I liked it.
Boring. And then of course, remember the Tit in the second to last. Yeah, great question by Joe. And
that was pretty good. Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe, and thanks to all of our callers and our listeners.
That was good. Good addition of the Call the Podcast team.
We interrupt this broadcast to remind you that you can get all of the latest Dynasty updates by following the Riverdale Gazette on Twitter. The Riverdale Gazette Twitter page. Don't be left behind.
So, but we've just had a great educational show here today. I mean, we're just doing some good things here
Lots
for
of knowledge.
the human race. I do want to remind everybody, of course, that the trade deadline is, and depending on when you're listening to this show, it may have already occurred, but it's at the stroke of midnight on Wednesday night.
I'm a buyer.
Yeah. You actually had some great questions last week. It's like some of the nitty gritty.
Oh, yeah.
Of the trade. Do you have any more? Did you answer everything for you? I didn't know
So,
if you had any more.
yeah, I do have one more.
Great.
So let's say a coach and I agree upon a trade Thursday afternoon, and we send you a very polite, pleading email saying, "Oh, we really tried to get it in, but we couldn't." What happens then?
Well, Johnny C. would call you out for being a weasel, first of all, and then he would correct your grammar.
Why would I say?
Nothing, but I'm sure you may have forgotten a comma or a semicolon. And maybe said two instead of T-O-O.
Oh.
Yes. And then I would probably consult with either the board members or a board member. If it's involving you, then I wouldn't consult you. I would consult somebody else or other people. And I mean, I think we have the rules set in place for a reason.
Yeah, I'm surprised you even said you would consult anyone.
Are you really? Because I think I run this shit for the most part as a democracy.
Yeah, I know, but I mean,
I know the perception
Thursday afternoon, stroke of midnight on Wednesday night. That's it. Nothing after that. This was a trick question. I was trying to trick you, and you failed.
I failed because I wanted to just get confirmation from another member that, hey, we can't allow this, correct? Yes, correct. And then I would just go back and say, I think that's doing the right
There
thing.
goes the commissioner ranking.
Oh, come on. Fuck the commissioner ranking. Gives a shit. You know what? I was thinking, remember in Gremlins 2, Bub? When,
No.
No. You've seen Gremlins 2.
Oh, yeah,
right? Right.
2, yeah.
2, yeah.
I thought you said 4.
I don't think there was a 4. I don't think there was a 3.
Well, that's good, because I haven't seen it.
Okay. Well, remember when they were asking all these questions about, like, you know how when the Mogwai eats after midnight
Right.
and then they turn into a gremlin?
Oh, yeah.
They were asking, like, really good questions at one point. Like, hey, what happens if, like, a Mogwai gets food stuck in its teeth? It goes past midnight and then it happens again. So that just made me remember Gremlins 2, the types of questions that you're asking.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I'm going to fill you in on a little information not a lot of people know. In first grade...
you turned into a Mogwai.
No, that was my nickname, Mogwai.
Real? How come?
I don't know.
Okay.
People said I kind of looked like one.
Okay. I remember you, Bubba, at that age.
Yeah.
I don't see it, but...
Trick question again!
You
Gotcha!
got me. You got me.
No one called me Mogwai, you fucking idiot.
The trade restriction period was going to be lifted at noon on December 30th, which is the Monday following Dynasty Bowl 10. Any questions about that one, Bubba?
No.
So you understand?
I think so.
Okay. Well, if anyone does have any questions about this at all, at any point, feel free to let me know. This is going to wrap up episode number 12 of the Dynasty Podcast. I'd like to thank Bree Olson for providing us with a free membership to our website and a free membership to our asshole. Thank you to Coach Zach Palucha. Thanks to all the people and machines, which kind of participated there in another successful version of the Call of Dynasty Podcast team segment. I think we'll probably do one more later in the season if we get enough people interested. And thanks to all of our loyal listeners.
Edition number 3 of the Gazette featuring a recap of the midseason hangout, how Coach Matt Whiffen is handling his success, what our reigning champ Coach Chris Heaney is doing with the Dynasty Championship trophy, and much more has been mailed and should be arriving at your doorstep in the coming days.
This is Commissioner Scooper.
I just said coming. This is Bumpalucha.
And we're going to be back next week for episode number 13, lucky number 13, when we'll welcome on Coach William Q. DeYoung of the Rockvillian Senators. And in the interactive segment, we're going to welcome a world-renowned doomsday prepper to talk to us about the end of the world, which is going to happen, people. So why not prepare now? See you next week. Over and out! This is Dynasty board member, Dynasty 2 champion, Era 1 Hall of Famer, Coach Phil Tamulus of the Pig Newtons. This radiant episode of the Dynasty podcast is brought to you by Jube's Family Restaurant and Tom Berkowitz Trucking. Like Matt Whiffin's third nipple, these two fine establishments are hidden gems. Jube's Family Restaurant and Tom Berkowitz Trucking, don't think, just do.